and sort of what does he bring in that regard in terms of fitting into what you guys are looking for?
Well, we'll see. It's day 4, but as I said in another interview I did in the offseason, I'd rather have too much talent and try to figure out how to manage it, how to have everybody embrace their role, than not have enough. So we love having another weapon. I thought Nelly the last couple of years did a great job for us as our third receiver. I don't really see D-Hop as a third receiver. I see him more as we have 3 starters at wide receiver. But we also have the 2 tight ends. So it'll be interesting as we get going, especially once we get to camp and we get the pads on, how we can integrate him into the offense, but we're excited.
You just sense how much he might be able to open things up more than Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman too, because he's a different kind of receiver.
Different guy. And again, can't wait till we really get to go full speed and get the pads on and really see it. You know, we're not there yet. He's not there yet. So can't wait to get there and really see what we got.
What did you like about Cooper Rush in the offseason and kind of seeing him out there today, taking a lot of the first 2 games?
Yeah, again, he's a pro. It's why he's made it in the NFL as long as he has. It's why his record as a starter is what it is. Because it's not like those guys get a lot of reps. You know, so when he's had his opportunities, he's done an outstanding job. Not a good job, an outstanding job of winning football games. He knows where to go with the ball. He knows his skill set. I mean, it's one thing to have a skill set. It's another to understand that. He's not Lamar, so he's got to know where to go with the ball, be on time, using his arm talent, anticipation with throws, and being able to get the ball out and get it to checkdowns.
Sorry, with 1,000-yard season last year, what are you kind of looking for him to do with maybe to grow or take the next step in terms of being even more consistent?
Well, we just got to get him the ball more. I mean, that's really it. The problem is we have a lot of those guys he's an unbelievable football player. He's not only an outside receiver that has elite route running skills, but he's unbelievable with the ball in his hands. So you have like a guy that fits 2 positions, really plays 2 spots. Now, I'm not sure we're going to use that when it's contract negotiations that we see him as 2 players, but I'm just saying that you can use him in a variety of roles to get him the ball, which allows your volume to go up. He's a volume catch guy. You can use him in novelty screens, getting him the ball down the field. So I expect him to take another leap, in terms of, his consistency. But, when you make it to the Pro Bowl or you're an all-pro, you're pretty good. You're pretty good.
Todd, I'm sure you look at everything every offseason, but was there something you kind of honed in on this offseason as you review, or a particular area you'd like to see, the group as a whole get a lot better at?
Great question. When we started the offseason, we had to really drill down into being specific, intentional of what those areas were. Because if you just took a broad scope or perspective, you'd say, well, we were really good at that. We were really good at this. We were really good at that area. We were really good at this. And yet, that wasn't always the case in certain parts of what we did. So we just really tried to drill down as to how the things that we do, how do we do them better? How do we function at a higher level? Obviously, we started to get the penalties cleaned up. How do we function better at the line of scrimmage, from our operation to communication, and really hone in after looking at last year what our guys do really well. What is Lamar like? Really, that's really it. Why waste time? I felt like we did that last year. I felt like first couple games, all the off season of what we did, we kind of wanted to see it, and it wasn't good enough. I mean, it really wasn't. So who are we, really, so we can come out of the gates fast?
We kept talking about the advantage of having 2 tight ends, 2 quality tight ends with Mark. And it seems probably have more than that with Works and Charlie. But just the fact of with Mark and Zay, how do you think that worked out last year? And do you think things can change with what you can do with that?
Well, it works out great because both of those guys, first of all, they're good friends and they're selfless. That's not easy. I mean, I know we played a lot of 12 personnel, but there's also, when we go 11 personnel, one of them's in the game, and they're both very capable guys. So Coach Godsey does a great job every week of How do we rotate those guys? Where do we have the targets aligned so those guys feel like they're getting their opportunities? So it starts with them. I mean, they're the ones that make that decision that, you know, they're selfless. And I think it gives us, you know, first of all, I'm fired up. They're all here, okay, to run it back with those guys. And, you know, I see us being very similar to last year in a lot of ways because I think that's our best grouping.
Todd, last year, coming into the season, it was so much going on with the offensive line, filling 3 different starting spots, the unfortunate passing of Coach D. Obviously, that made it a challenge going into the season. How is that different now with less moving parts along the offensive line going into this year?
Well, I mean, you'll have to ask those guys. I mean, what a great job, you know, Travell did, Coach Warhop did, our players. You'll have to ask those guys, you know, really, because they're the ones that did it. They're the ones that went out there, let alone the new starters, you know, and those guys embracing the role. But that, since I've been here and even before I got here, it feels like the next old lineman just steps up. That's why you draft players. That's why you develop. That's why you hope that over the years you're good enough to let those guys develop. And then when it's their time, be it Daniel or hell, it took Patrick a little bit longer, you know, to get that opportunity. But even guys in the past with Simpson and before I got here, Powers, like let those guys continue to develop and have some other guys there in the wings. But what a great job that the coaches did and our players did of just, you know, moving on. That's not easy. You know, a new voice, new players, but what a great job they did.
We saw 6 false start penalties by my count. It might have been more than that today. Any idea of what's going on in terms of out of syncness? And that was one of the things at the end of last year I looked to comment on about Warhop really cleaning up the penalties.
Yeah, that's not very good, is it? No. Well, one thing I told the guys that what we can't do is, first of all, we have a lot of guys repping. So the more you rep guys, you know, it's going to put an onus on a lot of different guys, right? And some guys that, to be honest, probably won't be playing for us, but that's a freaking excuse, okay? The reality is we can't give in to just go into one cadence. That's an easy solution. The easy solution is we'll go on one every time, right? Blah, 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 set hut. I mean, is that the best way to do it? I'm not trying to be. I'm just being real with you. So we've got to work it now. Now is the time for us to work multiple cadence, right? Because that was one of our things in the offseason. How do we get better at multiple cadence without jumping and flinching as much? For sure. It's disappointing. I watch it. I'm as disappointed as anybody, but we're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to chart it. And the guys that continue to get penalties, they'll struggle to get on the field.
There's a chance you guys go into this season, a good chance that you guys go into the season with a rookie kicker. Do you have any sense yet as to whether that might alter team strategy, or you might be looking to be more assertive in sort of that 35, 45 yards out?
Not when they make everyone. I mean, heck, when those, I don't know which one it's going to be, but as long as they make everyone, it won't adjust anything. That's what I'm counting on.
One more, Coach. Todd, we didn't see him out in the field today, but are you, in your dealings with him and when he's been in the building, or you feel good about the offseason Lamar's had to this point?
Yeah, I feel good. I always feel good about Lamar. He always comes in ready. You know, I've never felt like that when we've started camp or whenever he's been here that he's not ready. He loves to play football. I mean, he loves his teammates. He loves the Ravens. I mean, you know, I've never felt that way one way or the other, you know, about his preparation. He'll be ready to go, and we'll be ready to go against Buffalo come Sunday night.
Thank you, Coach.
That's it.